The following video contains content and opinions that some may find odd, offensive, or otherwise inappropriate for human consumption. Please watch and comment at your own risk. Today on the adventures of the owl, we follow our hero owl to the depths of the underworld, where he encounters... The hell is this doing rolling? Hello again, everybody. It's Al back with another video. I wanted to kind of change up the format a little bit compared to last time, just to kind of keep the video shorter, because I know sitting through a 20-minute video is not ideal. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and get started. So I want to kind of do a different segment on this video series, and that is Q&A, answer questions that you may have. In fact, you can email me right there and answer some of your questions via email. A common question that I get asked is, what is that? That is a ceiling light. Clearly. This is an office area. It's a little bit more comfortable for me personally. As you saw in the video at the very beginning of this particular video, my room is not ideal because it's green. Literally a green room. Yeah, so the only other options are the kitchen and the living room, and that's not gonna happen anytime soon, I don't think. So yeah, that being said, office area is nice, kind of keeps a more secluded feel to it. I'm trying to figure out how to dim this, but until then, we'll just kind of keep it at a better angle so it's not as bright behind me. Another question that I often get is why the video series is so out of place and all over the place. So if you watch the first two videos on this channel, you are absolutely right. They were literally all over the place, and I take full responsibility for that. I'm still kind of getting into the YouTube mode, I guess you could say. As you saw in one of the videos, the video was like 35-40 minutes long, which I really don't want to do very often. But again, it's one of those things where I'm still learning the YouTube game, as you could call it. So kind of hang with me as we go through some growing pains on that front. And speaking of which, so kind of wanted to share with you a thought that I had, and that is basically, TV shows and the direction that they're going in. Long gone are the days where we would sit down and there would be like a good sitcom or a good TV drama type of show like Grey's Anatomy or House or ER. Those days are long gone. It's more now about reality shows, which is completely unbearable. I wanted to give you my 5 suggestions. These suggestions could range anywhere from shows that appear in a seasonal format, like on HBO or USA or some of those channels, or it could be more Netflix oriented where you can binge watch it for 1 or 2 nights. So these are current shows, so you don't have to worry about like having to watch 7 seasons in 1 week or something like that. So with that in mind, let me give you my 5 suggestions. First suggestion, if you're into Breaking Bad, you need to watch Better Call Saul. It's a spin-off from Breaking Bad. Now, I know that has a negative connotation, that word spin-off, but this is much more than just a Breaking Bad spinoff. This is kind of its own story, and it ties very well into the Breaking Bad universe. So the setting is about 7 years before the events of Breaking Bad. Saul Goodman, in this series known as Jimmy McGill, is a young up-and-coming attorney that's trying to, get his hand in the cookie jar, so to speak. Do things the right way-ish. And along the way, he encounters characters such as Mike Ehrmantraut, obviously, is in the series. He's a very pivotal part of the series, actually. His brother, Charles, kind of is a much older brother than he is. His friend, Kim Wexler, who's also an attorney and happens to work in the law firm that Jimmy used to work in. And another character that kind of returned from the very get-go is Tuco Salamanca. Now, if you remember Tuco from Breaking Bad, he's just as awesome in this show. So definitely check that out. Another show that I would recommend, if you haven't heard of Game of Thrones yet, shame on you. I don't think I really need to get into much detail as far as Game of Thrones, so we'll kind of shelve that for another time. But since we're on the topic of HBO shows, I do want to recommend Westworld, just for the simple fact that it is probably, as far as character development, as far as storylines go, as far as just the overall aspect of it, the concept, the execution, it is all brilliantly done. Anthony Hopkins is still one of the most badass actors out there. If you're a fan of shows that have sex and violence, this has plenty of both. So definitely recommending that. Another really good show to watch is Mr. Robot. It follows the exploits of a young hacker by the name of Elliot, who basically works for a security system, a cybersecurity system during the day, making sure that their computer systems are working operationally and working properly. But then by night, he turns into this just total badass cyber hacker that hacks into people's lives, that is trying to make the world a better place. Ultimately, he gets caught up in this group of people known as F Society. No, I'm not censoring that. That's literally what they call themselves, F Society. Their objective basically is to take down the evil conglomerate known as E-Corp, or as they like to call them, Evil Corp. It's a very interesting show if you're into tech and cyber stuff like I am. Huge recommendation. One other one that I would recommend, it's one of those shows that you watch exclusively on Amazon. It's called The Man in the High Castle. I'm just going to leave you with this. If you ever thought to yourself, what would have happened if Germany and Japan won World War II? Well, there you go. With that in mind, I will bid you adieu. Please subscribe. Please like my video if you liked it. And I will talk to you next time. Ciao.
This has been a WTF production.